band, but I wanted to like get another hobby. And I remember like walking back from the lake, and there was just this comic book store, and I had read like some Venom comics when I was a kid and some Spider-Man comics. So I went in there and just like started getting more Spider-Man and Venom comics. And then like there was this punk dude who worked there, and I started like wanting, like he started showing me like some indie comics like the Dregs from Black Mask, and I was getting into those, and then I was like I used to draw my own comics too, but like the art wasn't progressing as much as the writing, and I was like more interested in that. Like I was mostly drawing them because like I couldn't like pay someone else to draw them. So I was just doing like short stuff, and I remember like my first comic that got published was like I met some dude at C2E2. We were both like, yeah, he was in like a Spider Punk cosplay, and he got he was like, yeah, I run this zine, and I put a comic in that zine, and I had to like use a fake ID to get into the bar show where the zine was being released, like as some band was playing. It was super weird, but that's how it happened. And like, I don't know, I've wanted to do this, or have been making comics since like late 2015.
Okay. Awesome. Well, you've certainly already made an impression on me with your work.
Thank you.
It Took Luke was, I had read it. I was a Kickstarter backer. I had read it. I don't. Time is weird. I don't know when I first read it. At some point, but I was looking at it again today, and I was immediately crushed all over again. It's what was the path to It Took Luke, because it started as a Kickstarter, and now it's going to be released, a bigger release through Oni. And what was kind of like the germ of the idea that got you going with that story, and how we got to here?
So there was like, I had done like an 8-page short comic with the artist on It Took Luke, Bailey. And then I was like, do you want to do something longer? And I approached her with this idea, and then I approached her with this like 2-sentence seed for a story that I like was supposed to do with some band in like 2017, and then it just like didn't happen. And of course, she's like, yeah, I like that one, like the one that I didn't really have. So I was listening to this song Kids by Pup, and I just would imagine the song being about like a bounty hunter who really cared about his kids, but he was like a divorced dad and like lived in a car. And that character like eventually became like this person who like doesn't really care about that much, except maybe their like estranged partner, and like really hates their job, which involves killing stuff with a giant sword. Yeah, and I had a job at the time that I really didn't vibe with. It was like an hour commute each way, and like 50 hours a week in the office in like the middle of the suburbs. And it just like sucked the life out of me for like 2 years.
I can 1000% sympathize with that. I definitely had the hour and a half each way commute job for just over 10 years. I was doing that, and it definitely leads you to think like Sal.
Yeah.
The protagonist of It Took Luke. And first off, Bailey art is just gorgeous.
She's insane. And like her work is just amazing. I'm so excited to read like all the books she's working on.
It does that because I'm not a huge manga guy, but this does the she's able to take that influence and make it much more, I guess I don't want to say palatable because that seems derogatory. More akin to something I'm used to reading.
Yeah, it's just like it's Western. Very much the marriage of like the anime influence and like the Western style.
Yeah, it's done. It captures all like the the stuff people say manga does better than, you know, at least art style wise, does better than Western comics, and it takes that and incorporates that into like a Western comic, and yeah, it's killer. The body horror stuff is amazing. I absolutely adore the use of just the red color, and even the tone of the red. It's a bit understated, and I really really love that, because it could easily have been too bright, you know. And I don't know if there was a lot of back and forth, like how vibrant should this red be in the story, or if it was just like, here's what it is, great.
Yeah, like I thought it was just gonna be like a flat red, like how a couple of the panel backgrounds are. But
yeah,
like the instructions that were given were basically just like red, and Bailey's just very, very, very good at what she does.
Yeah, because there are subtle gradations going on. It's just it's really amazing, inspiring stuff, and the story with Sal, and just the, you know, kind of feeling like you've been doing this thing. What else are you gonna do? But you're done.
Yeah.
It's really great, and of course, you know, the ending. I won't spoil it for anybody, but it is a beautiful book, and full of action, just heart and great characterization, and I kind of like the what you were kind of talking about, the path where it kind of started off as this one thing and then morphed into this, and that's something, as I've tried to write more stuff for myself or to potentially have another artist do. I'm trying to let go of that idea of like, my initial idea doesn't have to be what it ends up being. I could take the things that I was trying to say with that initial idea and have them morph and grow and be something completely different, but still have that feeling, still have those intentions of all that. Is that something that was kind of natural for you with the story, or were you kind of like, I don't want to take away this element because I'm really attached to it? Or
I feel like I don't know, like when I work, it changes, like, and I'm fine with that. I outline I wasn't doing it that much I don't think I did it. Like, I had a few paragraphs per act, because this was done in like a 3-act structure. But usually I put together like an 8-page synopsis, and that'll summarize like everything that happens in the book, like broken up into chapters or whatever. And then I work with Jasmine Walls, she writes graphic novels, draws some of her own stuff, and she's an editor. And I'm very receptive to notes and like changing stuff, and like I think she has a really good eye for everything. Like, if Jasmine's not like in charge of a very large imprint or something very soon, like, what's the point? Jasmine's she's just very, very, very good also at what she does, and I'd like to see her get more accolades for it. But yeah, I'm very receptive to notes and stuff. So like, and work a lot with my collaborators on like coming up with the story. Like, I'm working on a project right now with Rye Hickman, and the way that I came up with the story was like, I presented 3 10-song playlists and had them pick 2, and then I came up with like 2 paragraphs of story per playlist, and then had them pick 1, and then it was like, what do you want to draw that like fits in this?
That's amazing.
And then then I came up with, when I had all that, it made it a little easier, you know, to like figure out the story, and there was a lot of back and forth. Yeah. Just, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun to do stuff like that.
That's an awesome way to be approached. Speaking as an artist, like if a writer approached me with that setup, I'd be like, we're gonna be best friends forever. Like, pick what you're vibing with musically, and then I'm gonna write something to that. And it's just like, yes, please. You know,